Hello, my loves. How are we doing today? How is your week going so far? Okay, let's just make sure that Facebook is up and running as per usual. Today, we are going to make this short and sweet, but we are talking about procrastination. And if you really want to do less, if you really want to stop procrastinating, and essentially procrastination is the other side of doing the most, right? Like we're procrastinating, we're not actually getting things done. And yes, we want to do the most. I can say for myself and what I've seen a lot with clients, what I know to be true. Okay, we're live, just checking. What I know to be true from the clients that I've worked with and what I know to be true for myself is essentially that when we are procrastinating, we do want to get stuff done. Like we are ambitious women and we are ambitious human beings. Like, why is it that we struggle to show up? Why is it that we struggle to create that momentum or sustain that momentum, right? Does that make sense? Like, are you hearing me and thinking like, yeah, girl, you're talking to me? Because I think it's really important that we kind of identify what does it mean to procrastinate? Because I myself would have never considered myself a procrastinator, even though I did it a lot. And there were a lot of times where I was like, okay, I don't feel like doing this thing right now. And I'm pulling up Instagram and I'm starting to scroll, or I'll just watch one little show in between. And there are all these little things that if we see ourselves as type A, overachievers, perfectionists, it doesn't matter where you fall on that scale. I really just want you to be open-minded to the fact that procrastination is actually a very, very natural human thing to do, because the level at which we are expected to show up in our lives today is just so far beyond what our bodies were expected to do or meant to do. When we think about what are we actually here to do? Be in communities, be in our community, gather food, and survive, make our fire, have our homes, working 8+, and I want to say 8 because I know that it's the standard, but anything more than that and even up to 8 is just not something that our bodies were made for. And so procrastination, with that being said, is a super natural thing. Okay, so with that being said, we want to do less, right? We want to not fall into these traps of procrastination. We want to not feel like we, still have work to do at 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. when we get home and we're like, okay, I guess I didn't really get that done. So I'm going to have my laptop open while I make dinner or while I sit on the couch and have something running on Netflix in the background. Really consider where this is showing up for you. It doesn't have to be this intense procrastination where maybe you've always left things for the last minute, and maybe you are resonating with that sentence. And I have tons of clients who are like that. They're like, I work well under pressure. And it's do you actually work well under pressure? Because does that actually feel good? Or is that just something that you have now come into the cycle of doing? Because procrastination is something that you potentially identify with. And I see that happen a lot as well. So basically, if you want to do less, if you want to stop procrastinating in order to do less, if you want to start streamlining the way that you're showing up in order to do less, in order to have more time, in order to be in control of your time, because not every single minute is chocked to the brim of what needs to get done next, this is what you need to do before you do anything else. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And I did a little teaser on Instagram and I was like, this is the thing that you need to do next, but I'm not going to tell you because you got to come to Align and Allow. So all of you who are here right now, welcome. Thank you for being here. If you are hopping on live, say hello. Let me know that you're here. Tell me where you're tuning in from. How's your day going so far? How's your week going? Are you feeling productive? Are you feeling like you're procrastinating? Sometimes we really just need to call out what's happening in order to get ourselves back into the flow that we want to be in. And also for us to take our power back. When we're oh, I'm procrastinating again, okay, there's some procrastination happening right there. I'm taking my power back. That concept, that action doesn't control me and does not define who I am. Okay, went off on a little tangent there. But if you're hopping on live, say hello. If you are catching the replay, comment #replay. If you're listening to the audio replay, comment on the blog post. If you are catching this and you got the replay link via the email, send me an email. Tell me how this is resonating with you. Send your replies via email. I love hearing from you guys, and I love hearing how this resonates with you, because once again, you are so not alone in this. I see this happen all the time. That's why we're here talking about it. That's why you're here in this group, listening to Align and Allow in the Ambitious Women Creating Intentional Lives community, all those things, okay? So if you're new here, Align and Allow is your mini weekly little podcast morning show. I don't love to call it a morning show anymore because like it's dark here already. That just doesn't feel right for me. But maybe you're listening to this in the morning. The idea behind it is that you can grab your coffee. You can be, starting to write out your to-do list for the day, have this on in the background, be getting ready. This is your morning burst of inspiration, getting you realigned with how you want to be showing up, shifting your energy, giving you the mindset shifts and the coaching tools to really dive into working in alignment and making today and this week a really great one, okay? So quick little housekeeping note, all the Do Less strategy sessions have been booked up. There is a special little surprise that's coming out next week, and I'm going to be talking about that at the end of this episode because it aligns beautifully with your aligned action for today. But if at any point throughout this episode you're feeling like, oh God, I really need some support with this, or I don't really understand what she's talking about, and I'm catching the replay and like, how can I get more information on this? Or goodness gracious, like I need to know what my next step is. I've been stuck for long enough. Enough is enough. Let's hit the ground rolling at a high speed. I need this in my life. There's a link in the show notes. There's a link in the description right now. There's a link in the chat for those of you who are here on Zoom, where you can book in a coaching consultation call. These calls are zero pressure. It's really just a chance for you to get some one-on-one hot seat coaching, some insight on what is your strategy like right now? And like, why is it not working for you? Why are you procrastinating? What's going on? And like, how can we actually, in this very short and sweet session, shift you into doing less and creating more time for yourself? And a huge part of that is what we're going to be talking about today. So what do you have to do before you do anything else? The three things that we're going to be talking about is the number one thing you need to be focusing on. So this little magic number. Number two is how to identify what your root cause is and why this is a core purpose or a core reason why you're not able to do less and what's preventing you from really creating more time. And then number three, the exact strategy for easing into productivity instead of forcing yourself to stop procrastinating. And I see that happen a lot too, where we're like, okay, I want to stop procrastinating. And we kind of lean into like this willpower, strategy of like, okay, now stop procrastinating. And I'm going to like force myself to focus. And like a lot of the times we just want to procrastinate more. You feel me on that? Cause like, that's for sure me. And again, I see this happen all the time with my clients. Like this is just the natural progression of how our brains respond to these things. So how can we start working with them as opposed to against them? There's a little hint for what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. So the number one thing that you need to be focusing on in order to ditch the procrastination, the growing to-do list, all these things that are preventing you from being able to do less, right? And this number one thing that you need to do first is manage your mindset. Okay. I know that you were hoping that I was going to give you a cute, sweet little magical pill that you can just take and everything will be set and you'll be ready to rock. And unfortunately, that's just not how it works, right? We need to be able to show up and do the work in order to create this easefulness. And there's a quote, and my mother always says this, so she'll love that I'm sharing this and quoting her on it. But she always says, easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easy life. So if we're making the tougher choices and actually showing up to do the work, do this mindset work, do the stuff that we don't really feel is, as important because we haven't been taught that it's important. If you're showing up for those things, you're going to shift so many massive pieces and parts of your life that it's going to be so easy for you to really show up to the best of your ability, show up in your highest potential, show up with ease, show up with more time, expand your energy, all these things, because you're doing the work now. Okay. So mindset, yes, it is a bit of a working game. It's a bit of a practice, right? We're constantly showing up to do this practice. It's not about, conquering your mindset and being done with it forever. Like again, no, sorry, hate to be the one to break it to you, but it is a constant practice, okay? It's not about accomplishing, it's not about achieving and having it checked off the to-do list, which again is something that, we like to do that. We've been taught that checking things off means accomplishments. And so mindset work can be a little sticky or can feel a little bit sticky. Okay. So let's just talk about why this is so important. And a lot of the work that I do with my clients, we talk about the subconscious mind, and it is such a powerful way to work with your mind, to work with the subconscious mind, to actually start addressing what's happening beneath the surface. Why are you acting in certain ways? Why do you have certain belief systems? And how are those perpetuating the way that you're showing up, right? So if we're talking about procrastination, and let's even expand past that. If you don't feel like you're a procrastinator, do you feel like, a type A personality? Do you feel like you're a perfectionist? Do you feel like you're a people pleaser? Maybe you're here and you're like, I really need boundaries for how I'm working, but I want to do everything for everyone else, right? Just kind of tune in to what feels true for you there. But with every single one of those, there is something happening beneath the surface. What is the mindset process? What is the subconscious mind telling you is true that makes you want to show up in that way? So for example, let's go through procrastination. Maybe you show up and you're like, oh my God, I'm so irritated and so exhausted right now. This thing isn't working again. I'm not moving forward. And whatever those feelings are that are coming up, okay? And then you have this belief that's triggered from that. And you're like, I'm such a procrastinator. Maybe it turns into negative self-talk and you're like, I'm just not good enough. Clearly I don't care enough. Am I just lazy? Do I not care enough to build this business or apply for this new job, even though I'm miserable in my current job right now? We kind of start to go through these stories, and those are the beliefs that then come up, right? And then we act on those beliefs, right? So maybe you're feeling like, okay, I am procrastinating. And so you punish yourself by saying, okay, well, you wasted an hour today scrolling Instagram when you should have been working. So you have to work late tonight. Do you do that? Let me know in the comments if this is true. I see that some people are hopping on. Because this is, again, what the process of the subconscious mind does. And it's nothing about the subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind, it's super neutral. It doesn't know what's good or bad. It's not like, oh, she's procrastinating again. I see you. So we're going to go down this cycle where you need to work longer now. No, the subconscious mind is just playing out cycles that you have experienced repeatedly in your life. Okay. So maybe when you procrastinated when you were younger, you felt bad about it because you had nothing to show for it. And your parents were like, well, you can't get anywhere in life, you're a procrastinator. So now you have this belief that you can't get anywhere in life, you're a procrastinator. And the more we hear certain beliefs, so basically a belief is just a thought that we hear again and again and again. So the more we hear these statements, these thoughts, they become beliefs. And the more we hear these beliefs, the more we try to find the truth to them in our lives. Okay. So that's a very, very, very brief rundown on the subconscious mind. But the beautiful thing about this, and why I think it's so powerful to work with my clients and really harnessing the power of their subconscious mind and understanding how do your specific subconscious mind, how does your mind work? And what are your beliefs that are coming up? And what are those triggered by, right? What is that coming from? What experience is that triggered by? Or maybe it's a societal belief. So much of perfectionism and people pleasing comes from our societal beliefs that, especially as women, we need to show up for everyone else. We are the nurturers. We are responsible. We are the caretakers. Perfectionism, we can talk about proving your worth, feeling like you got validation from your parents if you got straight A's when you came home. I was literally on a client call yesterday and we were talking about this and she was like, I just don't know why this is coming up. And I'm like, let's talk about society. Honest to God. I said, did you ever feel I said, this is super general, super generic, but did you feel like you needed to come home with straight A's? Did you feel and maybe your parents didn't, get upset or angry with you, but they were like, you got, a special dinner, or you got dessert, or you got your report card put on the fridge. There is some kind of validation for doing good and a lack thereof when you didn't. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if this is resonating with you. So basically, this is the process of the subconscious mind. When we can understand the subconscious mind, Hey Penny. Oh my gosh, I'm like such a tech noob sometimes. I didn't have the comments up. She said, I miss watching you. It's been a little busy over here. Love seeing you here. Even if you can hop on for a hot second, love that you're here. Yes, so really understanding this is a powerful way to start to shift what is coming up for you. So we want to ditch procrastination. We don't want to be stuck in this pressure of perfectionism, right? Like that doesn't feel good. So let's use the subconscious mind to start shifting this, okay? And this is why we need to do mindset work first and foremost, because this is the thing, right? If we're not identifying why we feel like we need to be perfect or why we're procrastinating, it really doesn't matter what strategy you're trying to put into place. Like you can have the best strategy and like low key, shameless plug. This is the very, very cool freebie that's coming out for you next week. It's all about your calendar system and setting up your to-do lists. And I love this. And I'm actually sharing what I do with my one-on-one clients. So you're getting your hands on some seriously awesome stuff right now. But I know I'm giving it to you because I know that you want your strategy. That's what everyone wants. When they come and we start working together, like, I need my perfect strategy. I need to get this sorted. And it's like, yeah, totally. We need a good foundation. But if all we're focused on is the strategy, we're not actually looking at like, why are you procrastinating? Why are you overworking? Why are you stuck in perfectionism? Like those are the things that are going to trip you up and come up again and again and again, regardless of the strategy that you're in. Does that make sense? Let me know if that's resonating with you. Okay, so point number 2, let's move on. How to identify what your root cause is and why you are not actually able to do less and create more time. So we talked about a bunch of them right now: perfectionism, procrastination, people pleasing. And what I really encourage you to do is like get really, really clear on the story that is playing out for you specifically, because those are some very broad category topics, right? But the key to doing your own mindset work around this is to understand, when does this happen for me? And what is the cycle that I'm in? So like what emotions come up specifically? And then how do I act on those emotions? Like we talked about before, is it really like, okay, I'm procrastinating, I feel like shit about it, and now I'm going to be rude to myself and force myself to work even more, right? Like what is the cycle that's playing out for you? And to really like write out that story. And the best way to really do this is to be in it and then write out the story, right? Like, okay, I'm procrastinating. How do I feel right now? Okay, and then what do I do next? Oh, I'm feeling pressure from feeling like I need to do everything perfect. Okay, cool. What's happening in my mind? What feelings am I feeling right now, right? And this is really the key to getting to that root cause. And usually at the root, there's either an emotion, and that can come from a trauma response, or a belief, right? A belief of, why am I doing this? I believe that I need to do this to get love and validation. And a lot of the times that's what it comes down to, but I want you to really go through the process of doing it yourself, right? And yeah, again, this is why most clients want strategy first, because it's like, I want the structures in place, but this is the work, okay? This is the important game-changing work. Okay, let me just check my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything for you. Okay. Yeah. So really, again, what we said at the beginning, we want to play out the story so that we can start to discredit it and start shifting it. So that's really where we come to point number 3. And this is the exact strategy for easing into productivity. Instead of forcing yourself to stop procrastinating, again, are you be in a space, in a place where you're like, oh, I need to stop doing this. And so it gets into like this kind of aggressive place where like this negative energy where you're forcing yourself to push through the procrastination, even though clearly like things are just not flowing right now, right? Like what is the situation that's going on? So what I really want to talk about here is the importance of ebbs and flows. And I talked about this on another client call yesterday. And we were looking at like her way of showing up, and she was like, I really feel like I need to lean in more to my rest and into like this feminine flow, and like doing all these strategies like journaling and meditation and you know, body connection work and all of that. And it's like, yeah, that's amazing. But she's like, but like, I feel like irritated by it sometimes. And I'm like, okay, well, then we don't want to be doing that in that way, because as soon as you're irritated, like then you might as well not be doing it, because you're probably thinking like, when the heck is this going to be over so that I can like sit down and start answering some, you know, emails and doing some real work, right? So I want to give you a mindset shift right now. And that is that life exists in ebbs and flows. Life works in ebbs and flows. And therefore you should too. This expectation that you need to be on all the time. And again, whether you're resonating with perfectionism or procrastination, like I kind of see those as two sides of the scale, even though they do very closely relate to one another. We need to find the ebbs and flows in that. Like if you're procrastinating and you're recognizing that you're procrastinating, I want you to really consider what you need. Like, do you need to take a break? Do you need to step away from the screen for a minute? Like, what is coming up for you around that that's causing procrastination, right? The same with perfectionism. Like, coming back to this client call yesterday, we were talking about this intense pressure that she feels. She's like, where is this pressure coming from? Like, I run my own business, and why do I feel this? And I'm like, yeah, like it's external societal pressure. We've been conditioned that this is how things are, that we constantly have this external pressure. And we like linked it back to like the perfectionist tendencies and like how she felt like she needed to show up growing up. And again, shifting then into these ebbs and flows, like how can we release that external pressure and take back control of that so that we are the ones determining where we're putting our power as opposed to our power being taken away from us. Does that resonate with you guys? Let me know in the comments. So one way to do that and one way to really shift this mindset is seeing, one, there are ebbs and flows everywhere. There are cycles everywhere. Every one of us, and like even thinking about nature, thinking about the moon, thinking about, you know, the weather, like we need off days, we need on days. We have a little bit of both in ourselves. We have this, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. This binary, there's that word. We have the binary within us, this masculine energy, this feminine energy. Like we need both of it, okay? And so I want to give you this one aligned strategy, and we're going to wrap up for today, keeping it short and sweet for once. And that is being in the ebbs and flows, keeping that in mind. How can you move from a high pressure system where like, okay, I'm doing the most, everything's working, maybe to the place where, okay, everything's not working, but I'm still trying to do the most and force myself to do the most, into a place of low pressure system, okay? And one way to do that, quite literally, is remove yourself from the environment that you're in or from the task at hand and do a task that really doesn't require a whole lot of attention or pressure. And a lot of those tasks have to do with something that's fun, that aren't connected to some sort of accomplishment or achievement, or you know, no one is waiting for you to check it off the list or for them to give you feedback on something. Like, no. We don't want anything related to that, okay? So how can you bring yourself from that high pressure environment to a low pressure environment? I feel that this is a really great strategy to start leaning into the ebbs and flows. So that's your aligned action for today. If you want to dive deeper into this mindset, like I said, this is what you need to do before you do anything else. Like, yes, again, we want the strategy, we want the systems in place, but your systems aren't working right now. If you have systems in place and you're like, why am I not moving forward fast enough? Why do I feel stressed out all the time? Why do I still have a massive to-do list? It's because your systems aren't supporting you, because your mindset isn't supporting you, okay? And that's why it's so important to dive into the mindset and really work with the subconscious mind to see what's coming up and to shift it so that you can work with more ease, okay? So that is all from me for today. Like I said, if you want support in this, you are so welcome. And I really encourage and invite you to book in one of these zero pressure calls. These are coaching consultation calls. We literally get on, we have a really nice chat. I love connecting with you, every single one of you, and hearing where you're at, hearing your story. And we really look at like, okay, what needs to happen? What needs to shift for you? Like what is just no longer working? And we just have a chat about it. And like I said, these calls are zero pressure. If it doesn't feel like, you know, this is in alignment with you, totally fine. We had a good chat. We got to know each other. But at the same time, if you're like, yeah, okay, clearly this isn't working for me anymore, there are definitely ways that I can support you with that. Like this is my sweat and blood. I didn't even want to use that word because it's so hustle culture-esque. But this is my passion. This is what I do. This is what I've done for myself. This is what I've done for all my clients up until this point. And it's really beautiful to see them shift their mindset and then literally skyrocket through the strategy, because it's not even about that, right? So I'm wishing you a lovely rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon.